You have no idea what treasures you can find at a dump. According to statistics, items worth millions of dollars are most often discovered at dumps. And the reason is absolutely simple. Many people sometimes have no idea about the value of certain items and, thinking it's just useless junk, part with them without any regret. Sometimes old books with autographs are thrown away, or uncut precious stones that look like ordinary rocks. Today we'll reveal the most valuable and expensive items ever found at the dump. Whether it was accidental or not, we don't know. Hello, you're on the Cure Top channel, a necklace with real diamonds. A necklace with real diamonds. A gift from her ex-boyfriend was thoughtlessly thrown away by the girl for a simple reason. She thought they were just ordinary cheap glass beads. What a huge mistake. Later, it was found at a landfill and turned out to be a real diamond necklace. By the way, the landfill worker who found the necklace was arrested when he tried to sell his discovery. He should have taken the find to the police and gotten a reward. That's the story behind the diamonds. An old computer. The well-known Steve Jobs decided to throw away his old computer in 1976, but he felt sorry to just throw it out. So he simply took it to a recycling center. A center employee kept the computer for himself, leaving it unused in storage for years. When Steve Jobs became a celebrity, people remembered the old computer, and it was sold for $200,000. It really is worth keeping old stuff. After decades, it can turn into a real treasure. Steinway piano, Australia. A valuable Steinway piano worth $80,000 was found at a landfill in Western Australia. Musician Bill Thomas was shocked when he came across a working instrument while dumping trash at a landfill near Broome. Babe Ruth's baseball glove, Norway. When the 75-year-old owner of an apartment building in Trondheim was cleaning out his storage, he found a dusty old chest that had remained closed for almost a century. Inside the chest, there were many high-quality sporting goods, including extremely valuable and rare baseball gloves, baseballs, and a chest protector, all dating back to around 1920. The artifacts were made by Draper and Maynard, a leading sporting goods company in New York, around the 1880s to the 1930s. At one time, 80 Major League Baseball players used baseball gloves from this very company. The most expensive find was Babe Ruth's glove, which was sold at auction for $1,116,000. Sperm whale vomit, worth $500,000. A Thai bartender accidentally discovered a lump of strange substance on the beach that looked like soft wax. The man took the find home, and after consulting with his relatives and invited experts, he found out that he was lucky enough to discover nothing other than ambergris, the solidified vomit mass of a sperm whale. Sounds charming, of course, not very appealing unless you know what it's used for. Ambergris is used in perfumery to give fragrance lasting power. Perfumers highly value this natural substance, using it in the most expensive perfumes. At the moment, the lump found by the Thai man is valued at about $500,000. Great-great-grandfather's jeans, Arizona, USA. Arizona resident Jock Taylor inherited Levi's jeans that had been lying in an old family trunk for over a century. Judging by their size, the jeans probably belonged to his great-great-grandfather Salmon Warner, one of the first settlers in Arizona in the 1800s. His find was valued at $80,000 since Levi's made before 1900 are considered extremely rare, and pants in such perfect condition have never been found before. Packs of baseball cards, Tennessee, USA. A guy from the American state of Tennessee who wished to remain anonymous made an amazing discovery. Hundreds of unopened packs of cards featuring baseball players from the 40s, 50s, and 60s, which are valued at millions of dollars. He discovered them in the attic of his aunt's house after her husband passed away. This late relative had his own company that produced cards for TV shows, and at some point, he acquired these baseball cards for his own research and development, but apparently he just forgot about them. Nazi artifacts, Argentina. In a suburban house near Buenos Aires, the police discovered a collection of 75 Nazi artifacts in a hidden room. It is believed that these are memorabilia that belonged to high-ranking Nazi officials during the World War II. which once again proves their existence in South America after the war. Among the finds were a bust of Adolf Hitler, a statue of an eagle over a swastika, a knife, a box of children's harmonicas, puzzles, an hourglass, a medical device that was used to measure the size of a person's head, a mortar sight, and negatives of photographs of Hitler holding a magnifying glass. A camera with photographs of an eruption, Oregon, USA. In a vintage camera found at a Portland charity shop, there was a roll of undeveloped film after developing extremely rare photographs of the eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980 were discovered. It is considered one of the most destructive eruptions in U.S. history. About 60 people died. There was also damage amounting to $1.1 billion. On May 26, 2017, photographer Katya Dimov found an Argus C2 camera from 1938 with a damaged roll of Kodachrome slides inside. She took it to Blue Moon, a company that specializes in processing damaged film, and in the end, she was amazed. She discovered that some of the photos captured the eruption of Mount St. Helens from the yard of a nearby house. A 3,000-year-old prosthesis, Egypt. The daughter of an Egyptian priest lost her big toe about 3,000 years ago. When she died, she was buried near Luxor in a cemetery reserved for elite members of society. In 2017, her remains with a toe prosthesis were found by Swiss scientists from the University of Basel. The prosthesis is probably the oldest of its kind. It was made of wood and equipped with panels that could be laced up to make the prosthesis fit more tightly on the foot. Vintage lamp. Many years ago, a man who took things apart for recycling received a strange glass lamp. It was in poor condition, didn't work well, and its appearance was, as they say, an acquired taste. The man decided to completely redo the inside of the lamp so it could be used. In the end, the lamp went to his daughter, and she used it for as long as she could remember. Until one day, a visiting friend noticed that the strange lamp looked a lot like the famous Tiffany lamps. That's how the girl discovered that all this time she had a Tiffany lamp on her desk, worth about $55,000. However, the price could have been even higher if her father hadn't modified the device. Francisco Goya's Engravings, France. In March 2017, a complete set of engravings depicting bullfights, created by the artist Francisco de Goya, was accidentally discovered at the Château de Montigny in Vouvray-sur-Loire, northern France. A month later, at a Sotheby's auction in London, these 33 engravings were sold to an anonymous buyer for $530,500. The set of etchings was hidden at the back of a library shelf and was discovered during an inspection of the castle by the new heirs. The etchings were created by a Spanish master in 1815 and 1816. Painting by Jackson Pollock, Arizona, USA. Representatives of the auction house J. Levin Auctions were invited to inspect an estate in Sun City, Arizona, in order to appraise memorabilia from the LA Lakers basketball team. Instead, the appraisers found a real treasure trove of paintings, including a rare painting by Jackson Pollock. The painting was sold at auction later that year, and they expect to get up to $10 million for it. 60 rare cars, France recently. A previously unknown collection of 60 vintage cars from the 1930s to the 1950s was discovered in France. And these were not just old cars, but collectible models. Some of them were produced in only a few copies. The owner, Roger Bayen, passed away about 10 years ago. His skills were inherited by his son. After the younger Bayen died, his heirs decided to sell the collection. The cars are not in the best condition, but they are so rare that there are plans to restore them. Priceless artifacts in the attic from 1799. A British couple became millionaires in an instant after discovering ancient relics in their attic. The priceless artifacts were taken many years ago from the palace of the Indian ruler Tipu Sultan. Every day, people around the world discover something unusual and sometimes insanely valuable in the most unexpected places. Basements, garages, and even kitchen utensils. If you've watched the video so far, you've seen this yourself. That's how the couple in the United Kingdom became wealthy. The relics that were found came from the palace of the Indian ruler Tipu Sultan after his defeat by the forces led by the Duke of Wellington, who was a former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Arthur Wellesley is known as a statesman, field marshal, participant in the Napoleonic Wars, and the victor at Waterloo. Among the treasures, a rare weapon belonging to Tipu, the Tiger of Mysore, was discovered. That was the name given to the Indian ruler. He was also known as the Lion of Mysore. This pistol was used in his final battle against the British. The weapons, 4 swords, a shield, a nut box, a corkscrew, and a ring with a gold seal were brought to Britain by Major Thomas Hart after the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War. The artifacts were passed down in his family from generation to generation and now belong to a British couple who found them in the attic of their home in Berkshire. They didn't even realize how valuable these items were. In 2016, similar items that belonged to Tipu were auctioned off for $7.9 million. According to the auctioneer, it's impossible to determine the true value of these lots, but it's much higher than the value of the ones sold for almost $8 million. When I first saw the pistol, I almost fainted. It's a unique find. The owners are an ordinary family living in a Victorian mansion. This find is like a lottery ticket for them, the auctioneer said. Before you rush to the dump or climb up to your attic, rate the video with a thumbs up or down. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new videos. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, everyone.